Hey everyone, I'm so excited about the Cotton Candy mystery box, and I'm really excited about the Smart Paper Sticker Cardstock. That's one of my favorite materials. It is already adhesive on the back, so you just kind of peel it and stick it, which is a huge bonus for me. So I don't have to use glue. This is also a great alternative if you want to do some like sticker type stuff and you don't have a printer. So this is a great way to go. We also have the permanent markers in the box, so I'm going to use the blue one today. That is a great way to draw on the Smart Paper Sticker Cardstock and get a different look than if you don't have a printer. So what I'm going to do today, I have my machine set to Joy, and I'm going to go over to Projects, and I'm going to type in hello. We are going to make some name tags today, and I already, we're going to filter here to Cricut only. I already picked one out so that we don't have to scroll, so I know it's at the bottom. So it's for a baby bodysuit, but we are going to make it work for us. So because we are using the pen, there's a couple different techniques that we need to do, so we're going to start with that. So here we're going to just delete the name. We don't need that. And then what we're going to do is duplicate this. I'm actually going to turn this yellow first, though. I'm using the yellow Smart Paper Sticker Cardstock. So then we'll duplicate it. We're going to drag our mouse around both to make sure they're both selected. You can double check in your layers panel that they are, and you're going to choose align and center. Now we're going to detach these. Even though we removed that piece, it still kept the attached layer. So we can look here. They're the same color, but this one up here is the bottom and this is the top one. So your layers panel is whatever's on top is here, whatever's on the bottom will be at the bottom, and then each layer in between goes behind that. So what we're going to do is click contour. Now all we want is this center piece here. So the easiest thing to do is hide all contours, and then we're going to remove that background piece. So okay, you always have to have one thing selected for contour. So we need to put this piece back in and then select this one. And then what we're going to do is change it to pen. So we're setting the operation to pen. And I change the thickness always here. So we're going to go down to markers and we'll choose blue because that's what we're using. The thickness, you can see how thick it looks here. And then if I change it to a thin marker, you can see how much thinner it gets. So I always do the pen size, even if it doesn't have the pen color, just choose whatever's close. And that will give you a better visual of how thick it's going to be, which is very important. Now on this layer, we want to just hide all contours. We don't need any of it, okay? And then we're going to go over to text and we'll type in ourselves, hello, my name is. And when you're doing the pen, you have to set your operation to pen, but you'll see how we get an outline. You need to also set your style to writing. See how it changes? So what I usually do is when we go to pick our fonts, we scroll up here to our font name selections, and we're going to hit filter and filter to writing. Okay, now I already chose some fonts, so I'm going to use BFC Magic Garden for the hello part. It has a cool look to it as a writing style font, so I like that. Now you're going to notice how it changes both because they're in the same text box. So the easiest way to do this without having to create multiple text boxes and type everything out separately, we're going to go to Advanced, Ungroup to Lines, and now we have two separate text boxes. So I can go here and change this one, and I'm going to choose BFC Summer Barbecue. And a lot of people ask what BFC means. That is Blush Font Co. That is the designer of the font. So that comes up a lot. So I will answer that in case you didn't know. All right, so then what we want to do here is change pen to the marker and blue. Again, helps with the visual. We'll do the same for here, and then we're going to size everything down. so I want this to be smaller under the hello. Now, because this is thinner, I know that this can get bunched together a little bit more, so what I can do is come up here and change my letter space. So it's going to space those letters out a little bit more so they don't look so crammed together when you start writing. So then we'll just size it down a tiny bit again. All right. And I'm not aligning anything yet. We'll do that all at once. And then we'll just squeeze this all down to fit on here. Okay, now we are going to select everything and go to align and center horizontally. And that looks good. We're good to go. Everything is set to draw except for our yellow shape, which is set to cut, which is what we want. So we're going to click attach. And then I'm going to size it down now to 3 inches. I size it down afterwards. That way I just find it easier to get everything aligned. I like to have it nice and big in my face, so this helps that. And then because we used a Cricut project, if you want to save it, you have to do a save as. So we'll do hello, my name is, name tags, and then we'll click make and we'll get ready to go. Now, because we're using Smart Paper Sticker Cardstock, we do not need a mat, so we'll select without a mat. And then I'm going to change my project copies up here. Obviously, if you need multiple name tags. So let's see if we can fit 5. We have a 13-inch sheet. So perfect. We can fit 5 perfectly. So we'll click continue, and the Joy is Bluetooth only. So I do have it set up via Bluetooth. It's going to take a minute and search for that. It's already set up. And then you're going to notice some of your material options are grayed out. That's because they're not compatible without a mat. So if you're ever wondering with any machine, if you have material options grayed out, check over here, what's your operation, is it compatible? Sometimes engraving is set and you can't use it on certain materials, or it's engraving and basic cut and you can't cut those materials but you can engrave them. So always check around, and that will help you figure out why your materials are grayed out. So we're going to choose Smart Paper Sticker Cardstock. It tells you to load your pen, load your material, and then this little go icon will light up green when it's ready to go. So I'll come back and do that after. For now, we'll go over to my machine and I'll show you how to load everything and set it up. Okay, so you can see my light is blinking. That means it's connected to Bluetooth and ready to go, and I have my paper ready. So I'm going to open it, and I took my blade out already. For your marker, it should be stored tip down, and I always just scribble, like I just took this out of my trash quickly, but scribble on there quickly. Make sure your ink is flowing and going well. Sometimes if you haven't used them in a bit, they work fine, but you just have to get the ink going, so I always do that beforehand. So we'll close the clamp, and if you have a Joy, there is a magnet over here to hold your blade. I always forget where it is, but it's like somewhere right over here. I always have trouble finding it, but just kind of slide it around and it will hold your blade, there you go, while your machine is drying. I have had the pen hit it and knock it off on my Joy Extra, but on my Joy it really hasn't been an issue. You can leave it on your tabletop too, but this is a great way to not lose it. So I'm going to go ahead and load it. It doesn't matter which way, which side you load it in. You're going to go under these little tabs and hit up against the gray rollers, and you can see my paper loaded sideways, but you can see it's auto correcting it to make sure it's straight. So don't worry too much about that unless it starts to like really wrinkle your paper. Mine's okay. So I'm going to go back to Design Space. I'm going to hit go, and I'm going to let it draw and do everything, and then I'll come back and show you guys what pops up when it prompts you to switch from your pen to your blade. Okay, so after it's done drawing, it's going to come up. You're going to get a screen like this to remind you to swap out your blade before you hit cut again. So I just did that really quickly. Now, if you are using any machine that has a single clamp, like a Joy or a Joy Extra, this will come up all the time. If you are using an Explore, it should come up for an Explore machine too. If you are using a Maker 3, you'll have 2 different clamps. So this will only come up if you're using 2 tools in one clamp, like the scoring wheel and then cutting. So you won't get this all the time. So you just click go and it's going to finish the cut, and then I can come back and unload and I'll show you guys our final product. Okay, so I've unloaded it. These are all cut. You can see here. And then what I typically do is I'll grab my weaving tool and I just pierce a corner up here that doesn't have any part of the design on it, and I start there to weed. This is a thicker material. I'm going to show you guys up close what happened. I started separating like the top from the adhesive. Can you guys, I know it's white on white, so it's hard to see. So you can see I started separating that. So it is a thicker material. You want to make sure you get under there and you're grabbing what you need. And then we're just going to peel it off. Now we can see that our pen was a little bit thicker, so it is a little hard to read, but that's okay. Actually, it's not that bad. Those are cute. And then you can just leave any pen or the Cricut marker out and just have people fill it in as they come along. All right, guys, if you have any questions, let me know.